But when I eventually came to see you and we sat down, I just found you so easy to talk to and not judgmental in any shape or form and heartwarming. Yeah, you know, like you are a genuine person who is actually, hand on their heart, trying to help me. And gradually, I told you my story of what things have went right and what things have went wrong, and then you started to set the road for me to get on a recovery.
Yeah. So we've been working together for a while now. How did you find out about Hope?
Well, what happened was I was going through a very, very emotional moment in my life, and I ended up homeless, sleeping on the street, and not in a very good position whatsoever. Feeling very bad, feeling like the end of the world had come. So an ambulance was rung for me, and the ambulance picked me up and took me to the hospital, which I stayed overnight to be assessed, and I was assessed by some lovely doctors, and one of the doctors there recommended I go to the Hope Project.
I remember that, and I remember you walking into that room and sitting down with me and feeling that it was quite difficult for you to open up.
Yeah, because the first time I ever opened up was in that hospital. I just felt an amazing urge to get all the negative feelings out of myself, and sort of just try and make yourself feel better by getting things out if it's possible. So that was the first time I ever started talking about my mental health difficulties.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I think you did a huge amount of the hard work. I mean, you'd gone on, a bit of a roller coaster, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, basically, at the end of the day, I was so deep in the rabbit hole of self-destruction, negativity, worthlessness, feeling basically you no longer want to exist. And by you setting out stages of sorting debts out, going to psychiatrists, and getting to the root of my problem, if that's possible, I began to see a little bit of light out the rabbit hole. But eventually, I started to come out the rabbit hole, but it was only by talking to you and not being judged, and being able to get your feelings out, which is very, very important. Because if you keep them locked up, it just punishes you worse.
What do you think stops men talking about their mental health?
I would say, for me, it would be pride and ego. Because the moment you start thinking that there is something wrong with you, you feel you don't want to talk about it with somebody else, because one, you think they wouldn't understand, and two, you don't want people to know that you're feeling absolutely finished and weak. So it's very difficult. I mean, I was brought in my day, men was brought up to go work, support their family, not moan about nothing, and certainly not cry. So that's the way I went forward all my life. Even though I had occasions where I broke down, I somehow had the fight in me then to recover. But this particular time, I was so low, I wasn't even worried if I was coming back out of the rabbit hole.
You're a man of few needs, I think. You wanted a roof over your head.
Yeah.
You wanted the emotional support.
Yeah.
And the medical professionals' support.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best things out of it, and there are several, but one of the best things out of it is to go to a psychiatrist and talk out how I was feeling and why I'm like I am, and then being, treated for a form of bipolar, which I'm on medication for now. And it's debatable with the medications. It works for some people and it doesn't work for others. It can also work just because your mind allows it to work, But what it's done for me is it's stopped me having the nightmares, and also it's calmed me right down. I'm not stressed about things like I used to be.
Yeah. So if you look back to that first day and look at where you are now,
it's nothing short of a miracle. And if I wouldn't have had you on my side, I genuinely don't think I would have made it. That is why I think the Hope organisation, really needs to be funded correctly, because they saved somebody like me. And like I've said before, I've lost about 5 friends down to, committing suicide. And I know for a fact, if they would have been given the care, the help, which I received from your organisation and your good self, some of them would have been possibly alive today, and if you just save one person like me once a year, I hope you save hundreds, but if you just save one person once a year, what a wonderful thing to do for somebody.
You're absolutely right. Thank you, Paul.
No problem.